Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Now if you're watching this as it goes live on Saturday morning, then you are another person who's asking themselves, well, where's the Anaheim regional stream or where's the Harrogate regional stream? Unfortunately, there are no streams for both of their regionals this weekend. As far as I know, I might be wrong, but I am recording this in the past, so I might be wrong, something might change. But from what I know, there are no streams for this weekend, which is very unfortunate because the high level gameplay of the tournament will be forever lost in, well, not lost, but I guess it'll remain in our own minds and each person will have their experience, but we will not be able to share and look at, enjoy other people's matches, especially the ones from top 8 or at least day 2 onwards, which are usually some very high level or showcase some very high level gameplay. So I wanted to do a quick roundup, I guess, like a table roundup of what is likely going to be seen over at the tournament. Now, I don't know what will make day 2, what won't. Expand is such a big format that basically anything is up for grabs. I do have or at least a lot of the decks that I featured on the channel the past couple of weeks. If you haven't checked them out, there's a lot of expanded content from the past couple of weeks. A lot of those decks should be seeing some play. I will also be revealing in this video what I very likely ended up playing at Anaheim, which should be I might be, if I make day 2, I might be revealing my deck choice here. But I don't mind. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's definitely the deck that I'm leaning towards the most. And so let's take a look. I won't give thorough explanations. All these start decks, I believe, will see play. So first up, we have Alolan Executor. It could be with Garb or without Garb, but Tropical Shake deals a very nice amount of damage, 120. And then Alolan Executor having 160 HP is also pretty nice because it's very difficult for other Pokemon to take down. Although in Expanded, for example, Zoroark, which in Standard it can never hit for 160, in Expanded it definitely can. So that's a bad part. Grass typing is pretty good when Blastoise is expected to be a good deck. Having 30 HP basics is not great when Trevenant is a thing and is expected to be quite popular over at Anaheim. Then we have the Garber line, we have Garbotoxin, Garb to show off abilities, we have Trashalanche to deal extra damage, we have the Ditto to act as a 5th Execute or as a 3rd Trubbish most likely, because Executes do keep coming back very quickly, right, with their propagation ability. And then we have Lusamine plus Shrine of Punishment to make sure that the Shrine of Punishment sticks. The battle compressors really help out in, if you battle compressor this deck with this deck on turn 1, it's like you're using Bridget, and they also help in getting the energy into a discard pile so that Alolan Executor deals a lot of damage. Lusamine allows you to recycle the shrine and make sure that that sticks for the whole game. The energy retrieval gets you the right energy at the right time. And then we have End, Sycamore, Guzma, etc. Muzzle Band is slightly better than Choice Band here because the extra damage on non-GXs such as Baby Buzzle, for example, which has 130 HP, could end up being very significant. And this is a non-GX deck, so we're going with Marshadow instead of Tapu Lele for support. Other versions include Hypnotoxic Laser plus Burbank City Gym in order to allow Executor to deal upwards of 180 damage. Now, next up we have Plusepsilon. Plusepsilon, very similar to its standard brethren, except it has Blacksmith, which I've definitely pulled off some turn 1 180 damage thanks to the Beast Energy and Blacksmith, but I've sometimes been able to one-hit KO Shaymin EXs in the active spot as well on turn 1, which is a really nice way to start off the game. You have Naganadel GX's Stinger GX attack to combat Mildex and activate your own Beast Ring. Then Plusepsilon, of course, its Mind Blown attack is stupidly good, dealing 50 damage for each fire energy attached or that you choose to send to a Lost Zone attached to all of your Pokemon. So basically unlimited damage. We do play a bunch of energy. We have Marshall and Lele for support. We have Nakanatel with its charging up ability to power up and get those energy into play. Compressor, Battle Compressor once again, it's probably the card that makes a big difference in Expanded, because discarding cards is actually really good. You can discard Executes, in this case you can discard Fire Energy to get back with Blacksmith or Nakanatel. And then we also have Colress, which is a really nice card to just draw a lot of cards at the same time. This deck could use Sudowoodo probably to try and stop Zork, aggressive Zork, from stomping over it, but I didn't have it in the version that I streamed. Now next up we have Blastoise, probably my second choice as I'm making this video, behind Zork. I might end up changing my mind on the day of the event, but as of now this is my number 2 choice. So we have Blastoise, which allows you to bypass the energy rule. You only have water energy. Deluge allows you to attach any water energy you want from your hand to any Pokemon, so no energy restrictions there. We have the Archies to get the Blastoise out. If this is the only card in our hand, we can get the Blastoise and draw 5 cards. Then we have Keldeo, Volcanion Prism Star, Wishy-Washy GX, Articuno, and Kingdra as potential attackers. And once again, we have the 4 Battle Compressors. All 3 decks that we have mentioned so far include Battle Compressors. These are some pretty... like, Battle Compressor is just a really good card, and it really helps you not only thin the deck, but get cards into a discard pile, which maybe you want to recover through Versus Seeker or through Superior Energy Retrieval in the case of this deck, or even Fisherman. So very standard, very similar to what was used at the previous Expanded Regionals, except we have the inclusion of Wishy-Washy GX. Bluestar GX is a really nice GX attack to have, very cost effective, and you get to conserve the energy as well. Keldeo, Articuno, double Lele, double Shaman for setup support, and then very thin on the supporters, very high on the item card. So Garbodor does do a number on this deck, both Garbodors, both Trash Challenge and Garbotoxin. And then if you're up against something like Zork, you really need to focus on the Wishy-Washy or the Kingdra, because Keldeo just takes so much energy to take a 1-hit KO. Articuno, however, with its Delta Plus trait, can get you those last 2 prizes very easily on a basic, so something to keep in mind. Now next up we have Buzzle, the first deck that doesn't play Battle Compressor of our list. Standard Buzzrock, pretty much very similar to the standard versions from last format. We have Octillery for support, we have Lycanroc, which is extremely broken, 3 Elixir and 3 Beastring. I would love to have 4 of each, but I don't think I can fit that. We have the Karina support, which allows us to search for a fighting type Pokemon and an item card, which is really nice, especially on that particular Beastring turn. You can guarantee that. No Ninetales here. I feel like Verseekers and Karinas are enough support to not warrant the Ninetales, but I'm sure we'll see some Ninetales being played. We have Sudowoodo to stop Zork even more, aside from our typing. And then we have the Sideguard EX, which with its Cellstorm attack, it can actually put a big dent on Trevenant decks. Now, next up we have Drop-A-Garb, the first Garbodor deck. We do have double Trash Challenge and double Garbotoxin. Shut of abilities in a no Hex Maniac format is really good. And then we have Trash Challenge, where we've seen all these decks do play a lot of item cards, so Trash Challenge is a great way to punish that. We have Drampa as well to disrupt with Righteous Edge any special energies, where with no Puzzle of Time that's even stronger right now. And then Berserk to deal the big damage. We have Giratina to stop Trevenant, we have Ricorio to stop Night March, we have Sudowoodo to stop Zork. So this deck has an answer to pretty much everything. Triple Tap Lele, and then N plus Garbotoxin plus Parallel CD, reducing our opponent's bench. That's usually a game changer, especially in the late game. Now next up we have Gardevoir, a very strong deck, although stage 2s as always can be a bit unreliable. We have Ninetales GX to help us with that. With its Mysterious Guidance, we can search for 2 items, namely rare candies, but in this format we can also search for Versus Seekers, which is a very strong combination. We have Gardevoir dealing extra damage for every energy we have and that the opponent has. We have Gallade with its fighting typing, which is insanely good against Zork, and then Sensitive Blade can get that 1-hit KO, and Premonition even helps us in setting up our next turn, because we do rearrange our top deck. A very strong deck in my opinion. potential contender for this weekend, but I never really got the deck to work to my liking, so that's why I'm probably not, like, I'm considering it, it's in the back burner, but not quite my first choice. We have a bunch of energy to be able to deal a lot of damage. We have Giratina because Trevenant does put a number in this deck, especially when we rely on forward candies and Ninetales to play our item cards. Ditto Prism Star helps because we're playing at 3-2 Ninetales, at 2-1 Octillery, and almost a 5th Ralts, but we only have 1 Kirlia, so probably not too useful there. Next up, we have Lost March, another concept that has been thrown around. There's no counters for Lost March. Night March does have Oricorio and Karen. The counter to this deck is itself, I guess, its own consistency. You are relying on a stage 2, but if you get going, it's actually a pretty strong deck. Now, this list probably too similar to the to a standard version. I've seen some posts, namely by Peter Kika, that had Archies and Gallade and whatnot, so that will probably be something that we might see if Lost March does see some play. But for now, we have dealing 20 damage for each Pokemon in the Lost Zone, Jump Bluff, and Natu. That's why we have DC and Grass. Skip Bloom sends itself to a Lost Zone along with the Hoppip. Trumbeak allows us to do a little bit of disruption and sends itself to the Lost Zone. And then we have Lost Blenders to send even more things to the Lost Zone. One more Shadow GX because Fighting typing is great in this deck to have to counter Zork a little bit easier. However, I do see the benefit of playing Gallade as well. Mega Guardy, this deck probably not going to be at the top tables, I would say, but I wouldn't be surprised if it sees some play. Mega Guardy, Despair Ray with its Fairy and Psychic typing is pretty good because Fairy does resist Dark, hits Rayquaza for weakness, and Psychic also hits a bunch of Pokemon for weakness. And then Despair Ray, you discard as many Pokemon as you want from the bench, and then Giratina places damage counters when it goes from the discard pile to the bench. So you have this cycle of adding extra damage. That's how Mega Guardy can deal extra damage. And then we have Dimension Valley plus Max Potion in order to heal our Mega Guardies and immediately attack again, because 210 HP is a pretty nice number to have. You could play the Skyfield version of this, but I expect Sudowoodo to be in almost every deck. This is the one deck you don't need Sudowoodo in because Zork, unless they're playing Professor Kukui, they can never one-shot a Mega Guardy, but healing that damage from Zork with Dimension Valley plus Max Potion and then just reattaching seems pretty good. So that's why I'm choosing Dimension Valley over the Skyfield version. And we get the Hoopa consistency plus Shaman plus Jirachi and the fact that we are EXs to actually set up. Next up we have Shock Lock, a deck that I don't expect to see a lot of, but definitely one or two going around. It's a very fragile deck, but once it sets up, it's basically a perfect lock deck. It doesn't enjoy playing against Garbotoxin because Garbotoxin shuts off all the abilities that you need. Stoutland, its ability Sentinel, means that when it's active, your opponent can't play any supporter cards from their hand, so that's pretty broken. No Guzma to change the Stoutland and remove the effect. No Guzma, no End to reshuffle your hand into your deck, no Cynthia, no anything. So between the fact that you can't play supporters and the fact that you get Evo Shocked every single turn, right? You are paralyzed, therefore your active can't attack. There are very few ways in which you can get out of the lock. One of them is something like Keldeo, rushing in and then retreating. Dawn Wings Necrozma also accomplishes that. Next up we have things like Escape Rope or switches, but you do eventually run out of that, right? So the idea behind dealing with this deck is trying to rush it, trying to make them whiff at turn of the lock, but otherwise you are in for a bad time. Alolan Mug does help in shutting off basics abilities, namely Keldeo, but there's no way, not even a single Field Blower, to deal with Garbotoxin. Next up we have Trevenant, an expected very popular deck. Did gain Ditto Prism Star and Alolan Mug as options to counter its counter, which is Giratina Prism Star, which stops break Pokemon from using their abilities. Other than that, it's all about the spreading with Silent Fear, 3 damage counters everywhere, shutting off item cards with Forest Curse as long as this Pokemon is active, and then eventually using Tapu Lele's Magical Swap or Espion EX's Miraculous Shine to clean up everything that has seen play. Especially the threats, right? You don't mind giving your opponent one turn of item cards if they literally have nothing to threaten you with. Now, next up we have Wailord. Wailord, we streamed this the other day. It's a very expensive deck with the 4 Tropical Beaches, once again, just like Shocklock, which I guess I didn't mention. Tropical Beach, a very difficult card to get. It was only given out at Worlds 2 years, so very few people actually have playsets of these. I have a playset, but it's in Spanish, not in English, so I actually, even if I wanted to use it, I couldn't use it at the tournament because of how the rules currently work. Wailord, as you can see, doesn't have any attackers really. It just tries to deck you out by having 250 HP and being unkillable, I guess. Zurgitry is annoying as well with its ability Flashing Head. You prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have special energy attached to them. Next up, we have Oranguru as well to resource management, get back all the disruption that you might need, and an on hand to eventually win a game and declare yourself the winner. Now, in terms of supporters, we have so much variety. We have Plumeria and Faba for disruption. We have Team Flurgrunt as well. We have Team Rocket's Handiwork to attack the deck. We have Lusamine to recycle all of our supporters and Tropical Beaches. We have Team Skullgrunt in order to attack the hand. So basically, once you run your opponent out of energies, all you need to do is sit back and either research management forever until you get 35 cards, or you wait until you deck them out with Team Rocket's Handiwork. Next up, we have the Zoroark control deck, similar-ish to the Wailord, except it does deal damage. Seismitoad does prevent your opponent from playing any items, and then through Faba, Enhanced Hammer, Team Rocket's Handiwork, Plumeria, and Lusamine, you attempt to deny your opponent of every resource possible. Zoroark is there not as an attacker most of the time, but mostly in order to draw all the disruption that you want to use. Very different from Wailord, where it's just tanking. This deck actually is a little bit offensive thanks to Seismitoad dealing damage. It also runs resource management and Girafarig in order to eliminate a possible Lusamine loop from your opponent. You lost zone the cards that you choose, so you definitely remove energy forever from play, or something like Lusamine and Cynthia, so that your opponent can keep replenishing their decks. Other than that, it's all about setting up, stabilizing, and then disrupting your opponent until they literally have no options left. And finally, we have what I'm probably going to end up playing at the tournament. I published a 6 Prizes article on this as well. I have made a couple of changes since then, but the idea of the deck is the same. It's a Zoroark deck, it's an aggressive Zoroark deck. I rely on Alolan Mog to shut off opponent's Pseudo-Wudo, therefore dealing maximum damage through Skyfield, and thanks to Ditto Prism Star, I essentially can play 5 Zoruas, which means playing 4 Zoroark GXs along with a stand-in Zoroark, having the ability to remove annoying special conditions, and Mind Jack, which can take unsuspecting opponents by surprise, along with the Foul Play Zoroark, which allows me to copy an opponent's attack and use it against them with no limit, right? So I can copy GX attacks, or I can copy regular attacks. I feel like this card alone makes Buzzwole a favorable matchup, because you're always trading favorably against them, especially with your Rescue Stretcher. You can use this card twice against their Lycanroc and Buzzwole or something. It's just too powerful. The 1-hit KO potential that Zoroark has, thanks to Skyfield, you can deal up to 180 or 210 damage. That 1-hit KOs most of the format, except things like Gardevoir GX, Mega Gardevoir EX, Sylveon EX, Sylveon GX, Ninetales GX, Alolan Ninetales GX, and the Fairy one, and Gardevoir GX. But everything else is in range of Zoroark, which is insane, because it's all about the trading of resources, right? And if you are able to get the first 2 prizes, and as long as you keep up that price trade, you should be good. Double Tablele, double Shaman for support. As I mentioned, Alolan Muk is in here as it started out as a 1-1, and I figured that with no Hexmaniac in the format, I definitely need to set this guy up to combat opposing Pseudo-Wudo. So I need a 2-2 line. I can't rely on getting it back from the prizes. I need 2 primers to establish, possibly with a Ditto as well, to make sure that I get this up and running and I am not stopped by Pseudo-Wudo. So it might feel redundant that I have this to stop basic Pokemon abilities, and I run so many basic Pokemon abilities, but it works, right? It definitely works, and you have your own Sudowoodo because it's just a really good card everywhere, and you are playing Skyfield, so you don't want your opponent to benefit off of that unless you try to corner them into Mind Jack play. Other than that, it's consistency, but we are running the sneaky double red card plus delinquent play. So my idea, as you can see, I'm not playing N. I have no way to control my opponent's hand directly, but I do have the ability to use red card plus delinquent. So why am I trying to do this? Well, if I can pull it, like I've been able to pull this off consistently, that's why I have 4 Skyfield, and when I can't pull it off, it's like I'm ending my opponent down to 1 card every other turn, right? It doesn't matter if they take in 5 prizes or just 1, I end them down to 1 essentially, right? So I've been really liking this. This is based off of the recent Japanese expanded tournament, which ran very similar, though they do have both Puzzle of Time and Hex Maniac available to them, so those were definitely things I had to adapt myself to. But I'm very confident in the list. I've played quite a bit with it, and yeah, I mean, it can dead draw just like any other deck. My 61st card is probably a 3rd Tapu Lele. I'm trying to decide whether that's worth it or not. But other than that, I'm feeling confident in the deck, and I hope I get to do well. Yeah, so this is probably what I'm going to be playing this weekend. As you see this video, you will probably, I will know like what I'm playing, but as of today, as I'm recording this, this is what I'm leaning towards. And so I fully expect to see a bunch of these decks not only being played, but also at the top tables. This should be a very interesting format or tournament because Lost Thunder is out, and it does bring a lot to a lot of decks. And then I guess my 62nd card for the Zorak deck would be a Giratina with the Distortion Door ability, because those extra damage counters, you never know, right? You never know when they could be useful. But anyways, guys, that's going to be me. That's going to be it for today. Instead of gameplay, I figured I'd showcase the library of decks that we expect to see this weekend. By Sunday, we'll know what did well, what didn't, etc. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to leave a like, it really helps out the channel, and I will see you guys maybe on Monday. I'll be able to stream, but most likely Tuesday, yeah? So thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!